Vanja Dzaferovich, thank you so much for making some time to talk to me.
It's not a problem for me. It's a pleasure.
Now, the most obvious question to start with, perhaps, how did you start playing football?
You know, I started playing football when we moved to Croatia because I was born in Croatia, but I was living in Bosanski Brod in Bosnian. When the war started, we moved to Croatia, and I always loved football. So when we moved to Zagreb, I told my father that I want to play football, I want to train, and to be a professional footballer. So he told me, okay, we are done. We went to one club, you know. He talked to the coaches. They told me, you can come the next day. We start trainings, and everything started like that.
So what age did you know you wanted to be a professional footballer?
When I was 9 years old, I started training football, nine and a half. So immediately, you know, I knew that I wanted to be a professional player. I didn't know if I'm going to be one, because you never know, you know. But I had this urge, and I had a feeling that I'm going to be a professional because I really wanted it. I wanted it because my father was a person who loved football very much, and he always wanted me to become one. So maybe it was.
Did you have any particular heroes that inspired you? Like, I want to play football like that guy.
Of course, when I was 15 years old, it was 1998, and Croatia finished third in World Cup in France. And before that, in 1996, also in England, we had a very good team. So a lot of players there were my idols, like Boban, Šuker, Sanovic, and mostly Stimac, Bilic, who were defenders. I was central defender, so they were my idols, and I wanted to be like them during those years.
So you're born in Slavonski Brod, but you lived in Bosanski Brod.
Yes.
What do you remember from your early days there?
You know what's funny? I remember almost everything because, especially when the war started. So it's like a memory that always stays in you. And I was born in Slavonski Brod because in Bosanski Brod was a much smaller city than Slavonski Brod. There was no hospital for the, for mothers to bear their child. So I was born in Slavonski Brod, but I lived in Bosanski Brod. And I remember most of the things after my 5th birthday. Maybe I remember everything until my 8th birthday when the war started. And these memories always stayed with me, especially those few months when I was when we were in the city during the war, when everything started. So
you talked about Croatia doing very well in the World Cup. In Bulgaria in '94, the Bulgarian team reached 4th place. In fact, this was during the war in Bosnia. And I wasn't there, but this really created a massive outpour of joy and solidarity. In Bulgaria, it didn't do very well economically and politically at the time, but it really seemed to put the whole country together like nothing else could. Have you seen that power of sports, or maybe particular football, to really bring people together?
I think that football is a sport that really brings people together. It connects people. It's I experienced it 2 times, in 1998 after the war, and also last year, this year, when Croatia finished 2nd in the World Cup. It really unites people, and they become one. You know, it's like sports connects people. And when you said about Bulgarian national team in 1994, I remember that year also, because it was during the war, and we were already in Zagreb. We moved to Zagreb in 1994, and I was the World Cup. I was for Bulgaria then, and that's the moment, because I talked to one of my friends. He wants me to write some things about my football career, and I want to start the story with that because I realized I want to be a central defender when I was the Bulgarian World Cup. When I saw Trifon Ivanov, who passed away a few years ago, and he was my idol. When I saw him, he played the football because of the football, not because of the money. He was a real fighter. He goes on the field and he gives everything for the team and for the country. He kills on the field. If I can say it like that. So he was idol for me. When I saw him, I told my father I want to be like him. He's the player that he doesn't make haircuts. Not like today footballers, you know.
Yeah.
He was a real footballer for me, a real sports, a real athlete, and that's when I realized I wanted to be a central defender.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw him and the Bulgarian national team, I was very happy for them, and I only wish so one day we can be on their place. And 4 years after that, we finished third. So.
You played here in Bulgaria for Biroi, Stara Zagora. You're a very popular player. You're still very popular. The fact that you were a foreigner, has that ever had a difference? I mean, maybe positively or negatively. Has that ever made a difference in the way that you were accepted or treated?
When I came to Bulgaria in 2005, it was not easy for me because there were not a lot of foreigners playing in football teams in Bulgaria, and we were not accepted that good first few months. But you know, you need to work for it. It was like a story of my life. Mm-hmm. When we moved to Croatia after the war in Bosnia, I had to work for it, to be part of the community in Croatia, because they told me you're a refugee, you're not part of us, you're like Muslim, Bosniak, like, you know. So it was never easy for me, and I came to the same place, to the same atmosphere, like I was 9 years old and came to the school to Croatia. It was the same thing here, but I like Bulgaria. Bulgarian people, I think they're friendly, really friendly. Mm-hmm. And when you prove yourself to them, they accept you like you're one of them. So 3 years, 2 or 3 years after my stay in Biroi, I became captain of the team, and things really changed. They accepted me, the city accepted me, people, fans also, and I gave my everything for the teams, and they really acknowledged that. So I feel now like Bulgaria is my second home. So
they won't forget that either.
Yeah.
You must have seen up close as well in 2013 when the refugee crisis happened in Europe. Came to Bulgaria actually much earlier than in some of the other parts of Europe. I mean, there were outpours of solidarity, particularly in the beginning. Then later on, people started a little bit more apprehensive. How did you experience that?
You know, I always look at that from my point of view, because I'm a refugee. I really am a refugee. I'm still a refugee. I will always be a refugee, because I escaped my country. I could never come back to my country, because after the Dayton Agreement in United States, the city, the Serbian people from Bosnia, they got the city that we were living in, so we cannot come back. So I am a refugee. I know what it is when you need to leave your home, you need to leave your country, you need to leave your family, leave everything behind. Nobody wants that. I'm sure that nobody wants that. Of course, there are some people, opportunists, who want to use that particular situation, but its percentage is really low. So when somebody tells me these refugees, they are robbers, they are thieves, I don't agree with that. I think that nobody wants to leave their home. It's unimaginable for me. So I would help any one of them and do everything so they can feel good. And I think that every person in the world needs to do that for them, because people are, you know, there are bad people also, but people who leave their homes, they want comfort. If you don't give this to them, they can become angry. It's normally when you don't let them, like, for example, like Hungary, countries, you know, you never let them inside, and you treat them like animals. It's normal. They start to, you know, do some things they wouldn't do otherwise. No. So it's we need to be more tolerant to these people and give them help. That's my opinion.
Last question I want to ask you now. These interviews that we do, we ask people to step into the shoes of refugees. I don't have to ask you that because you were.
I'm in those shoes. I was in those
but
shoes.
How has that affected you, either positively or negatively?
In both ways, maybe, because, you know, positively you need to fight for your life and to become, you know, part of the society and part of the, you know, people around you, wherever you move. So, like I told you, that maybe positively that I built myself as a person maybe before some my people my age did at the time. But negatively, you know, you always have a scar in yourself. It never heals. It's like something you can never forget, and you have problems all of your life about this. When you think about it, when I think about it, it's I want to forget it, but you never can forget this. So it's maybe that's the negative point of it. But nobody chooses his life, so you need to fight. You need to live and try to, you know, to swim out.
Yeah.
So it's,
no, but
that's
after
the most important thing.
Your football career, and we're sitting here in your gym. I think you've done amazing. So you're an inspiration. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.